Where do I start? I don't know. So I got some really crazy news yesterday from my doctor. A week ago I went and I had an MRI done, MRI of the brain, because I've been having headaches every single day of my life. It started off like within the last year. Well, I've always had headaches, but they've never been so severe that I couldn't function. And you know, they used to be like maybe once a month, then they went to once a week, and then you know, every few days, every other day, and now they're daily. And so it was to the point where I felt like going to the ER. I felt so debilitated. It felt like a terrible migraine. So I called my doctor a couple weeks ago and I said, hey, I need you to look at me because these headaches they're ferocious. And so, you know, he ordered an MRI and I was like, okay, cool. You know, he's just wanted to make sure that there was nothing growing in there, you know, such as a brain tumor, because that would be a worst case scenario. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I went last week and I got my MRI done. It was very quick, like 13 minutes. And I waited for my results. And I got my results yesterday. And you know, he called and he started the phone conversation with, so you don't have anything growing in there. You know, you don't have any masses, any growths, any tumors. But when I was on the phone and I was, you know, when you hear that but, you know, you kind of flinch a little bit. And he said, but you do have Chiari. I was like, what? What do you mean I have Chiari? Chiari is something that my sister-in-law had, and she had a severe malformation, and she almost died, and she had to have brain surgery. So I'm like, well, what do you mean I have Chiari? And he told me that I had a grade 1 Chiari malformation, which is basically where the lower part of the brain herniates through the skull, which means my brain is slipping through the skull. Instead of staying up in the skull like it's supposed to do, it's coming downward. And in turn, this blocks off cerebrospinal fluid from getting circulated within the body, within the brain, everywhere, and it causes a buildup. And one of the main reasons for my headache was the Chiari. It's a hallmark sign of the condition. Chiari is something that you're born with, mostly, and Chiari 1, it doesn't show up until late teenage years, early adult years. And yeah, so I'm 29, and over the last few years, I've started noticing this going all along with the, you know, breast implant illness symptoms. You know, the breast implant illness symptoms are completely different than the Chiari symptoms, but they kind of intertwine. It's really crazy. It's all neurological. And anyway, some of the symptoms of Chiari is the headaches. It's severe neck pain, which I see a chiropractor and a massage therapist once a week, because no matter what I do, I cannot get relief. And it's at the base of my neck. Feels like someone's actually like stabbing me. And so yeah, so headaches, neck pain, muscle weakness, which is why I haven't been able to really work out in the last few months. It's been awful. Lifting weights is abnormally hard now. And it's not just because, hey, I took a week off or I took a month off. No, it's hard to pick up dumbbells and actually curl them. Some other symptoms are trouble swallowing, which I'm not having, thank goodness. I don't have any trouble eating or trouble breathing. Chiari can lead to severe respiratory distress. Impaired vision, that's part of it. My eyesight's been really shitty. And basically, like loss of coordination, like muscle, I mean, it's mainly like just neurological symptoms mainly. And yeah, like I said, I still have some other symptoms that are not related to the Chiari, which I feel are the breast implant illness. So as of right now, I'm still proceeding with a December 4th surgery date. I actually secured that the day before I found out my diagnosis. So I called my doctor and I let him know, well, I left a message for him. I'm actually waiting for him to call me back to see if, you know, we're good to proceed with the breast explant now that I have a brain issue. So I still want to get them out because I'm still having those BII symptoms, as well as the fact that I need to be healthy now more than ever. And this is just like, I feel like it couldn't have come at a worse time, but it's almost like a blessing in disguise, because on days where I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, should I get them out? Should I not? Is this all in my head? It really is all in my head. Literally, it is in my brain. And, you know, I need to get these out to better help this issue. So now I am facing two issues at once. And trust me, I already had my breakdown yesterday. Yep, so Chiari is something that can run in your family, but my grandma was adopted and my mom never knew her dad. So it's like there's bits and pieces of the puzzle that are missing. So I don't know if anyone else in my family has this. I'm just still shocked that this diagnosis even exists. So the first step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a specialist. I'm going to get a second opinion. I'm going to make for damn sure that I do have Chiari type 1. And if I do, I'm going to find out what I need to do. Most Chiari patients have surgery. They have brain surgery where, you know, they shave the bottom of your head and they cut, you know, all the way down from like the mid-head all the way down to like the mid-neck. And surgery, there's nothing to cure Chiari. Surgery will not cure Chiari, but it will stop the progression of it. So I don't become type 2 Chiari or fatal type 3 Chiari, which is really life-threatening. But yeah, I don't really know what to say right now, because this is crazy. You know, it's amazing how you can go from thinking you are just healthy and young and have all the time in the world to finding out you have a brain issue that you essentially can't do anything about. Dude, it sucks. But yeah, so I just wanted to show it. I haven't been very active on social media because I haven't felt well. And but you know what? I finally got some answers now, and now I know what to do. But unfortunately, Chiari is not super common. I think they say now that 200,000 people a year out of the US. That's like 30-something million people, okay? So it might seem common, but it's really not. So I'm just going to take it day by day and find someone who actually specializes in Chiari, because my doctor who called me to tell me I had the Chiari from the MRI literally could tell me nothing. He did not know anything about it, and so that kind of like helped me to feel very helpless. You know, so he kind of said, hey, you know, your MRI came back, you have Chiari, this is not the reason for your headaches, which was not true, because I found out that it is. So he literally had no idea. And unfortunately, I talked to my husband, whose sister, you know, almost died from Chiari, and he said that most doctors it's so rare that most doctors don't really know about it. At least normal doctors anyway, maybe neurologists and neurosurgeons, but yeah. So my husband's gonna send off my disc to the person that his sister used in Arizona. He's a specialist in Chiari. We're gonna have him read the data and get back to us. I don't even know how many millimeters my brain hernia is. So that'll be a good indicator of what we need to do. Unfortunately, most neurosurgeons won't perform surgery unless your symptoms are very severe, which I feel like mine are severe, but maybe they're not severe enough. I have no idea. I'm still trying to process and digest the phone call that I got last night prior to taking my kids trick-or-treating. But we went about our night as normal, and they had a good time, and you know, I cried a little bit throughout the house, like walking to houses, but we had a great night trick-or-treating. But yeah, the Chiari is definitely a good answer. It explains for sure why I'm having these issues, and it's not an issue that can be tested with a blood test. Chiari doesn't show up on a blood test. It shows up through an MRI. And I believe my toxic implants are not doing my Chiari any favors. So right now, I am going to get as healthy as I can and see a specialist. So I will gladly keep you guys updated. I might not post a lot like I used to because I literally have no energy to do so. But yeah, I feel like as my audience, y'all should know what's going on. I mean, I share everything with you guys, right? So yeah, just, you know, just keep me in your thoughts, your prayers, and I'll keep you updated on how things go. Again, I'm having surgery for my implant removal in December. I'm gonna speak with my explant doctor hopefully today and see what he says about my Chiari, whether or not we can proceed. Hopefully we can because I've already paid for it. So yeah, it's been a wonderful week to say the least. But I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend, and I appreciate you all for tuning in.